Harris Hall.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tuck Rule Takes episode 59, the Rufus Johnson episode. Like I said, this is Tuck Rule Takes, the home of your 7-5 New England Patriots, coming off a big win against the Bills. Mac Jones' career-defining game. Defense stood up. Josh Allen, you are still the bitch. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, hold on. That was going to be the opening if the Patriots played with their heads out of their assholes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tuck Rule Takes. I'm Mike Sullivan. Big Al's with us, completing his trilogy of guest spots. Liam's here as well, wearing a Bills jersey, but I'm not going to bury the lead. Patriots lost 24-10, and honestly, the game wasn't even that close. So instead of asking how you guys are doing, because I know none of us are doing well here, I am going to open the floor to you guys. Where do you want to start with this game? Because I think or just where do you want to start? Because I've been dreading this podcast all week since that debacle, that embarrassment of a loss. So where do you guys want to start?
First of all, I wanted to say, Mike, that was the best, worst opening I've ever seen. Like, truly incredible. Loved it, even though it made me even more depressed than I already am.
Made me sad.
It makes me want to go home and shatter windows with my hand and go all Eminem on the drywall. It was a great opening. Al, proceed.
Permission to make an opening statement.
By all means, that's what we're here for.
All right, so I really hate to say this next part because it's gonna kill, especially me, because it's something that shouldn't be happening. But guys, I think Kendrick Bourne has played his last game as a New England Patriot. I really do. And I know we're going to talk about it later, but the golden rule in New England, and I hate that this is a rule, but you have to abide by it. If you talk shit about the coaching staff and the coaching decisions, you find yourself on the bench, or you find yourself cut, or you find yourself released or traded, or whatever the case may be. What happened after the game on Thursday? Kendrick Bourne, he's like, you know what? I'm not playing that much this year. I'm probably out the door. I'm just going to say how I really feel. But guess what? I give so much credit to Kendrick Bourne for standing up for all of New England, for standing up for that offense, for standing up for Mac Jones, for standing up for everybody in that building that is a player, trying to make this offense work by this horrible, horrible man in Matt Patricia. Yes, he's a horrible man on the offensive side of the ball only. Defensively, he's great. Offensively, he sucks. And guess what? Matt Patricia needs to go. He needs to go now. Obviously, Patriots are going to finish the regular season with Matt Patricia, which I can't stand. But Kendrick Bourne should have been a part of this offense this year. He should have been a big part of it after his 2021 season, where he had the most yards in a season as a receiver in his 4 or 5 years in the league. And it's a shame that he has basically gone to waste this year. And it's not going to surprise me if in the Arizona game, he is inactive and he's a healthy scratch the rest of the season after this. That's all I got on that.
Let me give, because I was thinking that too, because I believe you texted that to me like right after the game or something when Mac Jones and him were talking. I got his comments pulled up. So instead of, anybody listening, you know what happened with the game. We're going to get into the game, but since Al kind of segued us perfectly into the Kendrick Bourne comments, we'll talk about those. We'll kind of like do a little reverse here.
That's what I'm here for.
But normally though, so I would agree that when you do kind of shit talk the coaching, whether it's you're talking about Belichick, whoever, normally that's maybe not a death sentence, but you're going to get you're going to get sat down, something like that. Given Belichick's comments saying, that, you can't really make drastic changes throughout in the middle of the year, blah, blah, blah. I don't think this is the same because I think Belichick sees it. Belichick isn't just this blindly loyal person. He's not stupid. He's forgot more football than any of us know about. He sees what's going on. So I don't know if Bourne's going to get in that much trouble for it, just like Mac Jones won't get in any trouble for what he said or his little on the field sideline outburst that we'll talk about as well. So I'm holding out a little bit more hope because I think that Belichick is on the same wavelength somewhat that Kendrick Bourne is. Kendrick Bourne's comments, by the way, I got a fair amount of them all pulled up here, pretty much everything that he said. So in the locker room, He said, we have to get the ball downfield. I think Mac needs more time. He's obviously running around, so it's hard to get the ball downfield when you don't really have time to throw. No knock to the line. It's just what we need to work on. The receivers can't do anything if the ball can't get downfield. If we can't throw it past 5 yards, it's just going to be a long game. Then he went on talking about third downs as well as just overall offensive play. He said, we just need to scheme up better. We need to know what they're doing. We need to know what they want to do on third down. You know what I mean? We're kind of sporadic. They call this and we call that, and it falls into what they want. We need to have it where they're falling into what we want. That's not my job. It's just my job to run the call. But as we could all see, they had 30 first downs. This is his words. This isn't me ad-libbing at all. He said, but as we could all see, they had 30 first downs, and we only had 8. So something they were doing against us was working, and something we were doing against them wasn't working. It's just about figuring it out each week. We've still got life, but we need to hurry up and figure it out. Bourne admitted it was frustrating, blah, blah, blah. And then he basically just talked about how the Bills were different. This one actually kind of caught my eye too, because Patriots fans were probably thinking the same way. He said, honestly, compared to last year, they're a different team. No Von Miller. We've got to take advantage of that. No Micah Hyde, things like that. We've just got to take advantage of those things. They're playing a different scheme. They're more soft in what they're doing. So they're more conservative, and we've got to take advantage and not just have 5-yard throws and moving slow. We've got to be able to attack and put pressure on the defense.
Were you getting ready for a slow clap? There it is.
That goes into, and I'm sure we all saw the video, Mac Jones' little sideline thing where he said, you know, the quick game isn't working. Throw the fucking ball. Or whether he was saying run the fucking ball, the quick game isn't working. Either way, Mac Jones clarified those comments after the game. To paraphrase, I don't have it pulled up. He basically said that he was just saying, you know, we got to get chunk plays. We got to throw the ball downfield. Basically everything that everyone has been saying about this offense, and it all kind of came to a head in this game. I don't want this to be Kendrick Bourne's last game. I don't think it's going to be. I do think this is his last year, though. I don't think he's on the team moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe towards the end of the year, depending on how the season goes, he does get inactive. But I don't know. We'll see. Liam, what do you think of Kendrick Bourne? His comments there. I think they're justified, just to clarify my point on it.
I think it's right intention, wrong point. The offense clearly has a problem, and it took a terrible, fucking terrible game against the Bills for me to truly realize how bad this offense was, because the Vikings game gave me a lot of hope. That Vikings game was incredible. So I'm like, if we can just do that same thing again, but there's no consistency from week to week. Mac was under a lot of pressure, which once again, like the games before the Vikings game, I think was the biggest factor of it all. But if Mac Jones is saying we need to throw it downfield or we need bigger chunk plays, and Kendrick Bourne's saying we need bigger chunk plays, I still don't exactly think the problem is the play calling, because Mac could just force it deep. Like, obviously, plays are schemed up to get guys open. So you'll have one guy running a post and you'll have one guy running a 10-yard out, and you should throw it to the 10-yard out because the post is dragging the safety along and you're supposed to get one-on-one coverage to the sideline. Stuff are drawn up. So that post route would be a for the love of the game route, because that guy running the post is not supposed to get the ball. Mm-hmm. But if Mac Jones wants a big play, force it downfield. Whether it's an interception or not, he did it against the Ravens. He did it multiple times to start the season. People hated it because it turned into an interception. I like it. I don't care how many picks Mac Jones throws. If you force the ball downfield and you're trying to create big plays, I like that. It's Patrick Mahomes-esque, and it worked for Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't work for most quarterbacks. But, you know, I like that you're taking the risk. With this, it's one of those things where if Mac Jones has such a big problem with it, just throw the fucking route. And it's a very petty way of protesting the offensive scheme. But if he has such a big problem with it, throw the damn deep route. Even if you're not supposed to throw it, put it down there. Me, being a conscientious Eagles fan, I don't know if you guys saw the Eagles-Steelers game from a couple weeks ago when A.J. Brown had 3 touchdowns. You guys recall this?
I saw the highlights.
Okay, so A.J. Brown, 2 of those routes, he was not supposed to get the ball. And Jalen Hurts was just like, fuck it, this guy's on fire. I'm throwing it deep. And A.J. Brown beat double coverage and scored touchdowns on 2 love of the game routes because he's just supposed to clear out for an underneath route. He was going deep, supposed to clear out, and Jalen Hurts threw it, forced it in, and turned it into a touchdown. If Mac Jones has such a big problem with it, throw it downfield, hit those routes. If Kendrick Bourne has a problem with this, well, then fucking say something about it. I don't think you should go to the media. That's not the Patriots way. He should go to Matt Patricia. He should go to Bill Belichick. I don't think he went about it the right way. I'm with you, Mike. I think he'll play. I don't think he'll be back next year. I think it was right intention because we're all thinking this. You said it.
Yeah.
He said what every Patriots fan is thinking, but he didn't go about it the Patriot way. You don't say that shit ever to the public, ever.
Yeah,
it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary fuel to the fire because everyone saw Mac Jones on the sideline saying that, flipping out. So everyone already knows where there's smoke, there's fire. Everyone knows the Patriots players are pissed. Mm-hmm. That's not the Patriot way. You don't go to the media about this because me and Mike are the biggest media haters. You are putting something out there that is just going to turn into a shitstorm.
Yeah, I mean, and clearly it has. And I think I get what you're saying, where it's like, you know what, if you want to throw the ball deep, throw it deep and everything. But I don't think we should be at the point where if Mac Jones wants to have chunk plays, he should be throwing up prayers or hopes to Devontae Parker or Nelson Aguilar. Like there should be, I think the frustration in the part where I agree with Bourne, maybe not going about it the right way, like you said, kind of doing that, like on the sideline, that's one thing, heat of the moment, all that stuff.
Yep. And
but
I understand Mac Jones doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because everybody's just, I think that Mac Jones doing that, and we'll kind of jump onto that in a second. I think my take on that is that's Mac Jones showing leadership. And I saw a couple other people saying that as well, kind of like, you know, people always showing frustration or whatever. But the thing is, I feel like he just wants plays that not even schemed up to have big shots, just deeper routes. Like I feel like all the plays that, especially in this Bills game, maybe not the whole season, because, you know, Liam, we haven't been as hard on Patricia this whole season, but it's just those things where it's like, you know, why not? Let's scheme up some plays to get you 12 yards, 15 yards, maybe something like that. You have some deep outs, deep slants, things like that. It just seems like everything is the quick out to the flat, or a screen that goes nowhere, or a comeback, or, you know, if it's 3rd and 10, you got receivers running 7-yard routes. And it's like, I know that the receivers can obviously, fuck it, I'm going to run 10 yards, but that's not the play. So when you start talking about timing and everything like that, so I get what you're saying, but it's like, we shouldn't even be at that point. We should have a better offense. That's, I think that's the frustration. And sure, Mac can force it deep. I don't mind if you have Devontae Parker, say, one-on-one downfield, or even if it may be the safety is over there, but it looks like Parker's out there, chuck it up, whatever. But the thing is, that shouldn't be the only way to push the ball downfield. You know what I mean? And
if you guys remember,
what do you think too?
Hold on, I'm going to bring Al into this because I know Al watches. I know Al,
you hold
Al
on.
pays. No, but like this is literally, I was going to say, I know Al watches the shit. In the first couple drives, we were moving the ball. Mac would throw it past the sticks on, 3rd and 7. He's throwing it 12 yards. Like the first couple drives, we looked great. We went up 7-3, and I was like, "This game's over. We are going to win." I have never felt so confident with a 7-3 lead. Crazy, I know, but we were moving the ball. He was throwing it past the sticks. It looked encouraging, and then after the first probably 2-3 drives, nothing past the line of scrimmage. I think that's an execution issue, not so much a play calling issue. And I want to know Al's opinion on this. Do you, like, in my eyes, the offensive line wasn't holding up. Mac Jones wasn't throwing the ball downfield. Receivers weren't getting open. It was 3 phases that led to a complete collapse.
And it's been all 3 of what you said the whole year, right? I mean, we're not going to let Mac Jones off scot-free, right? We're going to say that if we had to break it down in terms of why this offense has failed this year, I would say it's truthfully like 60% Patricia in the play calling. I'm going to give it about 25 to 30% on the offensive line being injured and not holding up their end of the bargain. And then 10 to 15% Mac Jones. Because the thing about Mac is that he's regressed in some areas. I like those numbers. As far as like, thank you, Mike. As far as like, just as far as like decision making and kind of having that internal clock to get rid of the ball in the pocket. Now, sometimes it's not his fault. Sometimes the pocket collapses so quick that it's 1 second, 2 seconds, all of a sudden he's got, two guys off the end coming in, and then the pocket collapses. He can't go anywhere. But then there are other times where it's like, all right, Mac, you've held the ball for 4 or 5 seconds. Get out of there. Throw the ball away. Like he did in that drive toward the end of the half where he threw the ball away and people were like, oh, he had 10 yards upfield. But here's the thing. If he tries to run that and then he doesn't get out of bounds, then you got to spike the clock. You got to spike the ball.
Half's over.
And half's over. Exactly. So I was okay with that. And I'm going to give credit to Pat Lane, who writes for SB Nation, because he said the same thing. He said that was the right play. And I agree with that. So to kind of answer your question, Liam, I know I'm getting a little long-winded, but
no, by all means,
no worries.
It's the fact that this happens every week.
Yeah,
it's
almost every week,
basically every week, except for with the exception of the Minnesota game. But basically every week it's the same thing. And this is what I was talking to you guys about a couple of weeks ago. It's, I understand where there's a time and place for like quick screens and quick slants and everything else. There's a time and place for it. You got to try to extend the play. You have to try to throw the ball downfield. You have to try to make some big plays. And especially against a Buffalo team that is second in the NFL in offense, in scoring offense, you need to be aggressive. You can't be conservative. You can't play this just gut it out till the end all the time, because sometimes it's going to burn you, and it burns you badly on Thursday night.
Yeah. I think it happened more than just the Minnesota game. Like, I always harp back to the Ravens game, but Devontae Parker had 156 yards for a reason. There were big plays, and Devontae Parker made big plays.
I was at that game. I saw Devontae Parker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were fucking, and that set a tone where I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is a segment of the offense that we did not have last year, where Devontae Parker can open it up downfield. But then we didn't see that the week after. And then we saw it with other players in the Vikings game. And I'm sure, like, if I were to pull up the schedule and I could nitpick and pull up other games where we had a few plays downfield. Unfortunately, a lot of the plays, the big plays came when Bailey Zappi was playing, like, against the Browns, and the Browns are just fucking terrible. Like, so we haven't seen it so much with Mac, but I can't help but think it's a execution issue. And I feel like I'm the Matt Patricia savior here, where I'm trying to, like, defend him really hard. But in the end, like, yes, he could do a lot better, because we had the Marcus Jones, which, first off, how fucking cool is it that our
fastest man alive
is scoring on offense? That's the most Patrick Peterson shit I've ever seen.
I love Marcus Jones, but that should show you right there that a defensive back and special teams guy, yes, he played some offense at Houston, but if that's the only guy that can make a big play like that, that's a problem.
He led the team in yards, by the way.
He did, which is fucking terrible.
Crazy.
And he had 2 catches. But, I agree with that, though, because the Cardinals used to do it with Patrick Peterson. If you can switch it up and put a speedster out there, like Deshaun Jackson was a wide receiver, so it was fitting. But Patrick Peterson was a corner, and they would throw him in there for big plays. He would have big plays. If you built off of that for the rest of the game, it would have been perfect. It was a route that Santonio Holmes, Super Bowl hero, the love of my life, ran against the Bengals way back in like 2009 or something.
You have a lot of loves of your lives in the NFL. I've noticed that about you.
I mean, mostly just Santonio Holmes. I mean,
no. You said Michael Vick last week.
Michael Vick.
Well, that's different.
I mean, you went on for like 5 minutes about Michael Vick.
There's a difference. Michael Vick is
Lest we not forget Cam Newton as well.
Well, that's different.
God forbid I bring up his name.
MVP, one of the best quarterbacks. Come on,
2 decades
dual threat. Doesn't get fucked. But Antonio Holmes ran a fake Marcus Jones route against the Bengals in 2009, where he fakes the screen, everyone bites on the screen, defensive backs come up, and he shoots downfield past what are supposed to be his screen blockers, gets by all of them, and gets a touchdown. If we could have built off the Marcus Jones, whether we used Marcus Jones that way or used another defensive back, they had thrown so many screens to Santonio Holmes that year, and it worked so well that defenses were committed to coming up, and then they would get a big play off teams assuming that it would be a short route. The Patriots have thrown almost always short routes. So defenses are biting on short routes. There should be openings downfield. I think that's a scheme issue, but I also can't help but think Mac does not have the protection to do so. Do you guys remember the interception in the last game that wasn't an interception by some act of God?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
And Mac Jones scrambled out of the pocket, dodged a
Mhm.
sack, scrambled out left, and just heaved it downfield to, try and make a big play out of basically nothing, and it ended up being an almost interception. Stuff like that, where the offensive line falls apart in a second. You have the defensive line in your face. He doesn't really have much of a chance to do something unless you have a generational arm or a great receiver who can get open on scramble plays like that. Most of the time, you're not going to hit those plays, and I think that's an execution issue.
Yeah, and I just think it's tough to whenever you talk about this team, it's very tough to make any bit. And I think I said this a few times this season where it's like it's tough to make any crazy like declarations about Mac Jones because Al, you brought it up. The offensive line has been wildly inconsistent. So yeah, like his clock might look like it's off, but then at the same time, a couple plays ago, he had 2 seconds to throw. And so, okay, but people are like, oh, well, it seems like he's rushing his throws. Well, yeah, because the offensive line hasn't protected for him. When they do protect for him, the receivers either aren't getting open or then he feels like he has to scramble because it's just the offensive line is screwing everything up. And again, that's not, I would put more blame on them. I would maybe give them a few more percentage point blame than you would, Al, but either way, Liam, you are not the only one defending Patricia. I do like he has some sort of skill, but Al, like you said, it's just we are over halfway into his tenure as an offensive coordinator. It's wildly inconsistent. It just
we're 2/3 of the way into the season now.
We are now, which is crazy. I hate that because football is like almost gone. But in I don't want to pull the ripcord on them, but at the same time, it's just this game. In this game, I want to ask how you guys felt about it too. It just feels like this loss hurt so much more than any other loss this season. Just everything coming into it, the red jerseys, they disrespected the red jerseys, never wear them again the rest of the season. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But like there was something about this loss where it was just everything came to a head, where it was the offense was playing like shit. The defense looked like post bye week defense, for a good span of the game from last season. Even though they weren't as horrible. I mean, giving up 24 points to the Bills isn't the end of the world. But it just everything kind of went wrong at the worst time. And it was almost the Patriots were set up for failure because if they lost this game, this wasn't a must win, but this was a gotta have it game because you're now 6-6 at the end of the podcast. We'll talk about the path to the playoffs, all that fun stuff, who the Patriots have next week and everything. So the season is not over, but it just, man, this game, there's going to be a lot of harsh, maybe overly critical takes coming out. Some of them deserved, some not deserved, but I don't know. It's just it's a frustrating game to watch when you see this offense perform like they did against Minnesota. And granted, Minnesota has some injuries, but so did Buffalo. So like I don't get it. They look like two completely different offenses for the most part.
And that's what I said. There's no consistency week to week.
No, and that's the thing with and God, I hate to say it because it's such a cliche, but with a second year quarterback, you want to kind of start to have some building blocks because this year, regardless of how it pans out, I would say this is kind of like it's turning into a wasted potential year for some of the young players, for the team in general, for the older players, because McCourty, this might be his last year, Slater, probably his last year. Like it's just, this is Mac Jones' second year.
We have legends on this team that are wasting their final years on this team, and I hope both of them come back because they can still play. But I don't have any confidence that they will.
I doubt it.
I don't think they're coming back. I think
I don't think so either. Like I'll be realistic about it, but I fucking hope so.
Yeah, no, I doubt it. But I mean, I guess to talk about the game, since we're talking about bad things, I'm not going to bring up anything good until the end of the game.
I did want to say Mac Jones is there's something to be said. Like he's taking care of the ball a lot better, which is a good and a bad thing, I guess. In the last 5 games, he has 4 touchdowns and only and no picks. Actually, if we go 5 games deep, he has 5 touchdowns and 1 pick, but he's 7-7 for touchdowns to interceptions right now after starting off 3-5, I believe it was. Goes back into my theory where it's like I would like him to air the ball out and put the ball in risk a lot more. Like I don't care if you throw an extra interception if it means a potential big play for a touchdown. I don't think it's a Mac Jones issue per se.
No, not at all. I would put it
No.
in Al. I want to know your opinion too, but
Yeah.
I don't. You can criticize Mac Jones for a lot of things. He is not the problem with this team. Mac Jones
No.
is still the guy that you can move forward with. I don't see how you can look at his play, not his play due to the team, just his specific play. If you can somehow compartmentalize that, he's still the guy. He is not the issue. Sure, there's growing pains. This is his second year in the league. He hasn't even, and he missed what, 3 games this season, right? If I remember correctly,
Four games.
Four games. So like, let's calm down with the Mac Jones hate. If I see one more person chant for Bailey Zappi, I'm gonna strangle him. Enough. No more Bailey Zappi.
You don't need Bailey Zappi right now. Here's the thing. Here's the thing too, right? I want to go back to the offensive line for just 1 second. Coming into this year.
Let's go there.
Coming into this year, right? The Patriots, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe were ranked top 5 in the NFL for their offensive line. Let's go by what their projected offensive line was supposed to be this year, right? Let's think about this. And in no particular order. Trent Brown, very underwhelming for signing a new contract, very underwhelming, been injured, should be a lot better than he is. Has not been great. Cole Strange started out very strong. Last couple weeks he has played like a rookie, has hit a rookie wall a little bit, committing bad penalties, letting sacks go by, etc. Right?
I love Cole
Strange. He was tough in the last game.
I also like Cole Strange. I think Cole Strange
I like his
very
number.
Good. Yes, we know Liam. David Andrews, okay, obviously has been hurt. He's been in and out of the lineup. It sucks, but
he got decapitated.
Basically, he's missed time. The only consistent player, Michael Onwenu, has been very good at guard this year. One of the best in the NFL.
Who'd have thought?
But even he's faltered a little bit here and there, which just shows you how crazy it is.
And then Isaiah Wynn.
Yeah,
he's
the root of all evil in the world.
He's the worst.
He's the one.
He's the reason there's world hunger. That's the root of all problems in the world.
That's the projected line. If you look at that lineup, that offensive line, that's a really good offensive line. That's a very talented offensive line. On the paper, things that are going on right now, you have Trent Brown diving at players, trying to chop block them quicker or trying to take them out with the knees more than I've ever seen any left tackle do. You got Isaiah Wynn, who is useless now. Nobody could have seen that fall from grace. So I don't put that on anybody but Isaiah Wynn. Mike Onwenu, love him. David Andrews, I will never say a bad thing about David Andrews. Will he make a mistake here and there? Sure, it's but fine, overall, but
very rare.
He is your best offensive lineman. I don't think that's crazy to say. Cole Strange, he's a rookie. He's coming in. He's doing this thing. But I think it's really the corners. Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn. Trent Brown has been sick here and there. I guess he has a bunch of nagging injuries that he's like playing through. But still, not an excuse. You're out there. You still got to play. But I don't know. Do you bring that back to the offense because Patricia's the offensive line coach?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, you kind of have to. And not only that, right? Think about their backups too. Yodny Kajust, he's a turnstile. Literally, everyone just takes a turn and goes through him because guess what? He can't block anything. And nobody talks about this. And this is something that it seemed so insignificant at the time, but now you're like, wow, why did they do this? Remember the Shaq Mason trade? Yeah, the Shaq Mason trade. Remember the Shaq Mason trade that sent him to Tampa? Now I understand, like I get getting the value back, but if you had Shaq Mason in here, correct me if I'm wrong, guard or tackle.
Guard. He was guard.
He's a guard, right? But you could have
Cole Strange's spot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but you could have moved. But you could have moved Mike Onwenu, and you could have moved him on a different part of the line because he could play multiple parts of the offensive line, and that would have made it even stronger. So then you put Mason in there, and not everyone forgets, but people are forgetting in all this. Marcus Cannon came back, did a great job. I forget what game it was. Might have been the Jets game. Was it the fourth game against
not the Ravens, whoever after the Ravens.
No, they lost that. The Packers. It was the
Packers game.
Yeah, did really well in the Packers game, was creating holes, and then he gets a concussion. He's out for 4 weeks. He's on the IR. So
he'll be back though, hopefully.
But again, it's been a rough year for that offensive line, especially because they can't stay consistent. They can't stay healthy. And guess what? That is affecting Mac Jones' progression. I know it sounds like for people that aren't quite like on the Mac Jones train, that sounds like excuses, but I mean, I know we hate to say this, but take a look at Tom Brady all the years that he was with the Patriots. Why was he so good? Because he always had a great offensive line in front of him.
Look at Tom Brady in his last year. Well, he had 22 touchdowns or something, 25 touchdowns. I hate Tom Brady, but that's not Tom Brady numbers.
Tom Brady sucked his last year here. Let's just call it what it is. He was not Tom Brady. And I'm sorry, Al, you bringing up your Mac Jones thing, because you were like, I know the people outside who are on the Mac Jones hate train, all that stuff. Listen, I'm not talking to those people, because the people who just like to and this kind of goes to my other point about the Patriots fans in general. The people who are just looking for reasons to boo, to bitch, to complain, to criticize this team for a multitude of reasons, because they let Tom Brady go, because McDaniels went out there, because they brought in Patricia, because they don't like Belichick, because he doesn't give you answers, and then they let the media brainwash them into God, I sound like one of those woke YouTube people. They let the media brainwash them into what they're thinking.
True,
I'm sick of those people who aren't even Patriots fans anymore. Because guess what? All of a sudden, if the Patriots aren't shoo-ins for the AFC Championship game, oh my God, I don't want to be a fan. You know why you don't want to be? Being a fan is rooting for a team. You are not a fan. You are a spoiled little bitch who just expects your team to be in the AFC Championship game. The whole part of being a fan is having the highs and lows, the overreactions, the overreaction when you win and when you lose. Patriots fans who got way too coddled with the last 20 years of dominance, which I can understand to an extent, but it's like now you don't want to root for the Patriots. You don't want to root for a team. You want to watch a game, have an easy game, and then not care until the playoffs. That's on you. This is now the reality that everybody lives in. Everybody knew this was coming. Maybe not this bad and all that, but it's bullshit. The people who will just criticize Mac Jones or criticize player X or coach X without even thinking or using their brains, just because, oh, well, when Brady was here, it wasn't like this. When Brady was here, we were undefeated against the Bills. No shit. When you have Tom Brady not on the team anymore, you don't think that things are going to change a little bit? It's right. I don't get it.
And those people never had, Al, your dad, huge Patriots fan, right?
No.
He's not?
No, he was a Packers guy.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well.
But he grew up watching. He does like the Patriots. He'll watch them. But
I'm sure you've heard him say, and I've heard from many of my customers as well as my own father, watching the Patriots before the year 1997 was like getting your teeth pulled. It was fucking brutal. And everyone.
That's what I was told. Yep.
Every old head that I've talked to, every lifelong Patriots fan goes, these last 20 years have been magical because I suffered my childhood, my 20s, my 30s with this fucking team. And then boom, they're excellent. Chiefs fans right now are reaping in the rewards of going 2-7 for a whole fucking decade and not winning shit, even though they had our Lord and Savior Matt Castle at one point. They sucked. Absolutely sucked. I love Matt Castle. Come on. Everyone loves Matt Castle. But I digress. Those people that complain about the Patriots and whatnot are just, like you said, Mike, they're entitled. They're spoiled. They were born in the year 1997 or after, and they only knew Patriots excellence. They only knew the Patriots to win. If you talk to anyone from the generation before who had to watch the 85 Bears stomp the Patriots out in the Super Bowl, had to watch Drew Bledsoe get smoked by the Packers in the Super Bowl, had to watch countless bad Patriots teams, they are all, at this point, they're like, yep, this is how it goes. We had it good for a while, and now I'm ready to watch, a struggling team because I am happy with what we got for a decade. Those people drive me up a fucking wall as well, because it's like, man, be a little realistic. What was our dynasty going to last 100 years? This isn't the fucking Ottoman Empire. No. This is football.
So I understand what you're saying, but let me tell you. So I was born in 1991. First Patriots game or the 91? First season.
You're old as fuck.
Yeah, I know. I actually turned 31 in 2 weeks.
No fucking way.
Yeah,
you are
December
really
18th.
Old.
Yeah. Listen, I turned 30 in August, so I get it.
Oh my God.
I'm the oldest one.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are on the way to the retirement home.
Yeah, I'm 93, Mike.
So I kind of say this as the elder fucking statesman in this Zoom TRT going on right now.
Friggin' grandpa.
My first year watching the Patriots was 2001. What happened in 2001, boys? We won the Super Bowl. Yes. So while Liam, I get what you're saying, I have only known success with this team.
Yeah.
How come I have enough of a brain to not think like that? So it's like I can't even give them the excuse. It's like I don't
because I started watching in 2003 when they were going for their second Super Bowl, and then they got another one after that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Al, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, you're good. I think to that point, and Mike, I'm thinking about the point that you made when you said, being critical of this team. I think it's fair to give criticism, and I know you're going to agree with this. Give the criticism when it's necessary, and I think back, Liam, you mentioned my father. So I'm going to mention my father for a second because there's something he always said that I will never forget. He used to coach me in baseball when I was younger, and he used to say this all the time, and I agreed with him. When you do something good, you highlight the good. When you do something that needs improvement, you got to point that out too. You got to criticize a little bit. This Patriots team last year, think about what happened last year, obviously, right? You had the whole 2020 BS with Cam Newton. It was a bad year, whatever. They had no talent on that roster.
Crazy BS.
7-9.
Yes,
7-9. It was BS.
It was BS.
13 rushing touchdowns.
Cool. Yeah, and 4 passing touchdowns. Anyways, so
8 passing touchdowns.
Ooh, you doubled it. Ooh, you could do easy math. Ooh. Anyways,
he did.
So
come on, you're a mathematician. Get the numbers right.
Yeah, statistics are different. I never took stats. Anyways, so 2021. Okay. Yeah, shut up. 2021, right? They start out 2-4. They find their groove, and then they finish, 8-4 for the season. They finished 10-8, right? And it was exciting to watch again. Coming into this year, people were critical about a defensive-minded guy coming in and taking over the offense. I know it's Matty P. I liked Matty P when he was here as defensive coordinator.
Most people did.
A lot of people did. There were still some decisions like the Malcolm Butler benching in Super Bowl 52 that we don't understand, but you know what? It is what it is. Like
doesn't make a difference anyway.
But like him and Belichick are going to take that reason to the grave, and it is what it is, right? But the point that I'm trying to make is this: with the stuff that's happened this year, the bad O-line play, the questionable decision making at times, the questionable why we're not getting a real offensive coordinator and a real defensive coordinator like just about every other team does. And I don't want to hear the Patriot way stuff. I get it, but guess what? In this day and age in the NFL, you need speed on offense, you need speed on defense, you need people that know what they're doing. And I'm sorry, but you got to be critical about the way this Patriots offense has run, especially when you're scoring 10 points at home against a defense that's banged up, when you have offensive weapons that can be playmakers. We should be critical of that. And when they do good, just like they did against Minnesota, guess what? We celebrate because you put up 26 points. You put up 26 points against a Ravens team that's looking like they're going to take the AFC North. You're putting up points against the Packers, who at the beginning of the season, everyone thought could go to the Super Bowl before they had their downfall. So yes, celebrate the good moments, but you got to call it spade a spade. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. And right now, this offense is bad. And I mean bad.
Yeah, it's not good. And I'll only give you pushback on 2 of the things. The Patriots got faster on offense and defense.
That's true.
That was something they got Mac Wilson. They got, on offense, they drafted they got Marcus Jones and Jack Jones, who are fast. They drafted them. They got, what's his name? Tyquan Thornton. But that's neither, that was just kind of just something I heard you say. I just wanted to say, like, hey, at least they tried.
Thornton? He has just disappeared.
He played, he had 2 catches for 31 yards. He can't, his routes are running deep routes when you can't throw, whatever.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
My thing, I know that, and this we'll circle back to Matt Patricia. I wanted to ask you guys why all the pure hatred for Patricia before he even called a game? Because like you said, Al, he came over. Everybody liked him for the most part when he was here. He left. He went to the Lions, sucked. We know. He came back, and then all of a sudden it was why'd you bring him back, whatever, to go to offense, which I get that it's kind of something that's going to make you be like, huh, like, you know, give you the little, like, you know, dog, cock your head to the
Gives
side,
pause.
like, what the hell? But at the same time, like, and I think Belichick said it at the very beginning of the year. It was like when McDaniels got put into the offense, he'd never called offensive plays before. When Bill O'Brien did, you know, when you had Romeo Crennel go the defense, he never called defense. So it's like everyone starts somewhere. So I think this was just one of those things where if it works out, it's just one of those things. Belichick is a genius. It didn't work out. And it seems like Belichick is owning it, which he said in the press conference today, or one of his things. He said, you know, that's on me. I said at the beginning of the year, if it doesn't work out, it's on me. But where did all this Matt Patricia hatred come from? I think that it stemmed from every single article or piece of information you saw come out of New England was, why is he here? This is crazy. Belichick shouldn't be doing this. But everything on the radio was that. And like I said, I understand kind of being like, this is a weird move. Not really sure if it's going to work or whatever. But he wasn't starting at 0. He was starting at negative 100 to even get to 0 in the fans' eyes. He was going to have to go 7-0, and Mac Jones was going to have to put up 5 touchdowns every game. That's how it seemed. And I don't. So while I do think that you got to go elsewhere. I mean, you got to move on from Matt Patricia at the end of the year. Just to kind of just clean slate, like unless you can bring in different I don't know, but I just think it'd be best to move on from him. But I do still think he's getting the shit. He started getting the shit end of the straw to begin with. And it's like,
I think the media tells people
I have a theory on that, but Liam, go ahead first. I have a theory after on that.
The media tells people how to think. I mean, last show, you guys were like, bring Bill O'Brien in because, like,
I still believe that.
He's been here, but that's the thing. Like, people will criticize, like, why is Matt Patricia coming back? He left for a reason. Let's move on. But then you guys, as Patriots fans, like, bring back Bill O'Brien. There's not a whole lot of difference between the two. They were both here when we were winning, and now you bring them back. And, like, yes, what? Okay, Al, what is the difference between the fucking two of them?
Want to know what I compare this to? Al, I'll throw it to you in a second. Guys, when something works out, everybody likes it. When it doesn't, you don't. It's not. What does this remind you of? The fucking play calling that I was talking about last week. When the halfback toss works, it's awesome. When it doesn't work, it's the worst play in the world. So hindsight is a big thing here because like it's one of those like wishy-washy things.
And the
but
media
anyways,
tells people how to think.
It just made me think about it. Yeah. So Al, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No. All I was gonna say was my theory is that the reason that the moves got so much hate is because it was guys that were in the Patriots system, went outside of the system to become head coaches, failed, and not only failed, but failed miserably. And then they basically had to crawl back to New England because they didn't have success elsewhere. And not only that, right? And Liam, you mentioned the Bill O'Brien thing. Bill O'Brien had worked in offense and stuff before. And so when you bring back an offensive guy to an offensive role, it's like, okay, that makes sense. You bring back Matt Patricia. If you told me at the beginning of the 2022 offseason that Matt Patricia was going to come in and be the defensive coordinator, I'm sure that a lot of New England would have been like, okay, it's maybe not the greatest move, but it's a good move because it's a guy that knows the defense, knows the scheme, and can get the defense on track. I'm not saying they're not on track. I'm just saying can get them into a good position. I think that's why a lot of criticism has come this way. Now, we're talking about, obviously offensive coordinator. I'll give you guys something, and you guys are not going to like this, but I'm going to give you something, and I need you to hear me out on it first.
Oh, God.
What's it going to be?
Bring back Cam Newton.
Shut up, Liam. I'm giving you something real.
As offensive coordinator?
Not stupid. No.
Works for me.
Ready for this?
Man knows offense.
If Belichick retired, I'm not saying he's going to. Just hold on. Hold on.
God, I already hate this.
No, you don't. You don't even know where I'm going next.
I can imagine.
If
Nothing.
Belichick,
the grass isn't greener on the other side.
No, it's not.
If
right
Belichick,
now.
just hear me out first, and then if you guys want to shit on it after, I'm fine. Just hear me out first. If Belichick said, I'm done after the year, there are 2 names in mind that I think could come in and make a big difference. Now, do you guys want to guess, or do you guys want me to just tell you?
Don't say Sean Payton.
Nope, I'm not saying Sean Payton.
Although that would be awesome. I'm on board with Sean Payton.
I will not say Sean Payton. I'll give you 2 names. Ready?
Steve Belichick and Belichick's wife.
Those
are the 2 people, right?
Obviously.
Keep it in the family. Keep it in the family.
We bring
Steve
Robert
Belichick
Kraft
has done
down.
awesome
Robert
this
Kraft
year, by
becomes
the
the
way.
coach.
Mike, stop it.
No, he's not ready to coach yet. Maybe in like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
One name I'll give you. Eric Bieniemy.
That's exactly what I was thinking as an offensive
Eric
coordinator.
I want
Bieniemy.
him.
Coach.
I want him as the OC.
Eric Bieniemy. If I'm saying if not offensive coordinator, if the head coaching position ever opened, I would want Eric Bieniemy as my head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
I think he could do it.
Okay.
The other name,
no.
and
if it was open, yes.
No.
I'm telling you right now, if this name was available and you could get him right now.
If you say fucking Mike McDaniel, I will stab you in the eye.
No, I'm not that dumb.
Okay, cool.
Right first.
I'll stab you in the other eye.
Right first name though. Give me Mike Vrabel.
Oh fuck! I thought you were gonna say Mike Tomlin. I was gonna kick you out if you said Mike Tomlin.
No,
okay.
no. Again, I'm not stupid, guys. You guys think just because like I don't come on here every week and I'm not like 100% Patriots, like great all the time, and say Belichick's the greatest of all time, which I do think he is, that I'm dumb. I just said he's the greatest of all time.
Just because Liam and I run a podcast called Tuck Rule Take, and this is something I wanted to say really quick too. We are not blindly oblivious and positive for rooting for our team. We are still critical, but it's one of those things where we look at it from more of like a macro commonsensical view. We let our overreactions happen off screen to each other. And then we come on and actually talk. So
I
wanted to say. So,
no, that's fair. That's very fair.
Okay.
Well, Mike Vrabel's an easy out though. Like obviously, like Mike Vrabel, we'd all accept Mike Vrabel because he's if you're going to be a line and otherwise, fuck. I want that guy on my team. Absolutely. So like Mike Vrabel's easy go-to. I don't want Eric Bieniemy though. I don't think he's head coach material. I have seen him make multiple mistakes and I've seen Patrick Mahomes get furious with him on the sidelines. I don't think he's head coach material. There's a reason he wasn't offered jobs the last 2 years when he should have been out after their first huge year.
Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach right now in the NFL.
I think I would like to see. So I think he would be an awesome fit as offensive coordinator. If and when Patricia goes, I got a name for you guys. Someone in house. What about Troy Brown? Him sliding into the offensive coordinator position.
What I wouldn't do
if Nick Caley didn't accept the position.
Exactly.
I would say Troy Brown is a good alternative. I can get on board with that.
Yeah. So I think a move like that. Bill O'Brien would calm down a lot of the fan base, which I don't think that's what Belichick's going to go for. If he thinks that works, that's what he'll go for. But I could see Troy Brown. I could see Nick Caley doing it as well. Those are really the only names in house that I could see moving up. I mean, those are really the only options. But yeah, I mean, Eric Bieniemy would be nice, but no, he'll probably get a coaching job somewhere.
With an organization like the Patriots, though, you kind of have to keep it in house or somebody who's been with the organization at one point in their playing career or their coaching career. They are a completely unique circumstance, and all Patriots fans know the Patriot way is a real thing. And like, yes, it gets annoying to harp on the Patriot way, but it is truly a way of football life, and it is a real thing. To bring in Eric Bieniemy, I would like it. I think he's a great offensive mind, and I think it would be a good addition. But I also wouldn't want him as much as I'd want, Mike Vrabel or somebody else. Even Mike Vrabel as an offensive coordinator, which sounds ludicrous because he's more of a defensive-minded head coach. Troy Brown, too. With the Patriots, they are such a specific organization that you need to keep it in-house.
Okay, I think you need to as well because lastly, and I'll throw it right to you, I think you can't have 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years for Mac Jones, all out of the coming from different teams. I think if you're going to give Mac Jones, which it looks like they're going to, another offensive coordinator, you want it to be in-house, someone who's been around, who Mac is familiar with. Because now I didn't think that mattered much going into his second year because the first year, you're kind of coming in, you split a little bit of time with Cam Newton anyway, but like, the third year, especially with how the second year played out with Mac missing games and all that stuff, I think you need to try to keep it in house, but that's just me. Al, what were you going to say?
Quick hypothetical. Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator for the next 2 seasons. So 2023, 2024, Belichick retires after 2024. You have Eric Bieniemy as your head coach 2025. Do you take that?
Yep. Because he's been with the team. I would say, because he's been ingratiated into the team for 2 years. He he knows the players, he knows Kraft, he knows how the team likes to be run. I would say, yeah. I'd be 100% down with that. I don't think the next head coach is not going to be in I don't even want to spend any time on this because I don't think Belichick's going anywhere anytime soon.
No,
but
never.
I don't think the next head coach is coming from outside of the organization. It's going to be from inside, someone who's been here for the last few years or something like that. That's what I think. But yeah, I could see Bieniemy being here. Did you guys? I don't want to talk about this game. To be honest,
there's nothing to talk about.
There isn't. No. Yeah, there's this was just a complete failure of everything. I don't want to dive back into it because I just now crawled out of the hole of being into it. So I prefer not to. What I did want to bring up then, if we're not really going to touch on the game at all, do you guys still think Patriots are 6-6 right now? We're playing the Cardinals next week. One kind of a quick little, what do you think the chances are with the Cardinals? Do you think the hopes for the playoff spot is still alive? Because we are only one game out right now. And I'm going to pull up the Chargers and the Jets schedule, even the Bengals one, just for shits and giggles as well. So we can kind of see what each team has in store. How do you guys feel about next week going into that game? And then kind of, or you could tackle, what do you think is going to happen the rest of the way? Do you think the Patriots are still have a chance for the play, a realistic chance for the playoffs? Because obviously they still have a chance because there's not mathematically eliminated. But whoever wants to go first.
Al.
I think you have to win. You got to beat Arizona Monday night. You have to beat Vegas the following Sunday. Go 8-6, and then you have the 3 biggest games of your life against Cincinnati, and then 2 AFC East showdowns, home against Miami, at Buffalo. If you lose, and I don't care how bad this is going to sound, you lose Monday night against the Cardinals, season's over.
Oh, done. So yeah, that's what I was going to say. I am. Well, it'll depend on what happens in the rest of the AFC, because like this week, the Patriots lost to the Bills. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. Yeah, for the most part. Some teams moved their seeding in
Jets
the playoffs.
Lost, Chargers lost. So the Chargers lost. That's good for you. You have the better AFC record. Jets obviously 1 game behind, and you own the tiebreaker because you win the head-to-head matchup. So that's good. And the Jets are playing the Bills this week at Buffalo. So that's big.
That's what I was going to say. So you got the Jets in this. This is why the Arizona game becomes even more of as close to a must win as you can get, because you got the Jets play the Bills. So I'm going to assume the Bills take care of business. I'm going to just kind of go out on a limb and say that.
Our Lord and Savior, Mike White, might come up big. That guy's a motherfucker.
The Chargers play the Dolphins. This is almost a win kind of win for you. You'd want the Dolphins to win to knock the Chargers down. But if the Chargers do topple the Dolphins, that kind of still helps you a little bit there too.
I want the Chargers to win. The Dolphins need to get knocked off their high horse.
So the only reason I want the Dolphins to win is because we need the Chargers to lose. Assuming you beat the Cardinals. The Bengals are playing the Browns. I guess the Browns might be able to beat the Bengals, but the Bengals do look really good. So
I mean, they have the Michael Jordan of football and Deshaun Watson. Anything's possible.
Oh my!
What do you think, Liam, about the game? About the Arizona game?
Dude, fucking look at what I'm wearing, dude. I feel like I'm in the movie Saw. Like fucking the season's over. What the fuck am I supposed to say? Like, I went out on a limb last podcast, guaranteeing a win, or the season's fucking over. We got stomped out, curb stopped, mollywopped, and raped. The fuck am I supposed to say right now? We're 6-6. Mike White's playing like a madman. Somehow Tua's competent, and we just lost to the Bills. Whether we win or lose next week, we'll probably win because Kyler Murray's a stanky-legged midget and can barely do anything this year. Fucking overall, the season's fucking over.
You are as doomy and gloomy.
What am what am I supposed to look at what I'm fucking wearing? What am I supposed to say?
Listen, I will.
It's true. At least it's Doug Flutie.
It is Doug Flutie, which is good. I will be there with you next week. So if if the Patriots do lose to the Cardinals next week, regardless, I'll say it now, regardless of what else happens with the AFC going on, I will come on here next week and I will declare the season over. I'm still gonna watch the game, still gonna love the game, still everything like that. Now,
I'm
now
definitely gonna watch the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, but like now, when I say season's over, doesn't mean that I don't think it's still like right now. Patriots can still make the playoffs, all that stuff. Patriots aren't making the Super Bowl. Like, obviously, that's not. I mean, we know that right now. You're just looking for building blocks for next year. But right now, as of right now, I still think there is a playoff spot for this team. I think that the Bills game was so bad that you have it's such a bad taste in everybody's mouth right now. But if you actually, it was, but if you actually look at the AFC, and I think who was it? It wasn't Matt. Maybe it was Mac Jones. It was Adrian Phillips. I think it was actually. He was like, we're not in a horrible spot right now. One spot out of the playoffs. You still have a game against the Dolphins. You still have a game against the Bengals. So if you beat the Bengals, you end up ending the year tied with them. You own the tiebreaker. If you beat the Dolphins, then it comes down to obviously division records, all that stuff. I don't know if you're going to leapfrog the Dolphins anyways, but it just they're all winnable games too, except the Bills one is a little tough, but like this game coming up, the Cardinals game, very winnable. You have to win this game. This to me is you have to win. If you do not win, technically you can still make the playoffs, but you are going to need a lot of help from other teams to make the playoffs. So
honestly, like season over or not, I still think we could beat the Bills. Like there isn't much to talk about in the last game, but we very well could have won. Like fucking if Mac I'm a fucking idiot. Mac Brown, the linebacker number 30, if he fucking tackles Josh Allen instead of
Wilson,
Wilson, instead of because he came from the Browns. That's where he came from. If he just fucking tackles him instead of letting him get to the sideline, literally had a hand on him, and I think he thought Allen was running out of bounds. If you just finish that play, it's a different game. The Stephon Diggs deep touchdown was all very avoidable. We held the Bills to 24 points, which considering is pretty fucking good because Stephon Diggs is a monster. So it was a very winnable game. If it's a different game, hopefully next time around, I think they could beat the Bills, regardless of if I think the season's over or not. I think they're a very beatable team. They have the same chance of winning the Super Bowl as the Patriots do.
So I'll say this real quick about the Cardinals game. So right now, Liam, you're a betting man. According to DraftKings, Patriots are 1.5 point favorite going into the game on the road.
Love it.
Over unders 44. Patriots minus 120 money line. So the odds makers are thinking the Patriots are going to win this game. I think with this game, and I'll make this very brief. If you can keep Kyler Murray in the pocket, he's going to make mistakes. And guess what? You got to cover DeAndre Hopkins. You got to cover Marquise Brown.
Hollywood.
And guess what? Also, too, Cardinals are the second worst in the NFL when it comes to points allowed. They give up a lot of points per game. So you can score on this defense. So now
probably means we won't score at all. Probably that's what.
Yeah. But you should find a way to win this game. Get back on track, and then you got another big one against Vegas. But you got to win this one. And I think
that's winnable though. The Vegas one is very winnable. So if you go 7-6, you can ideally beat the Raiders. You're 8-6, probably the 6th or 7th seed in the playoffs right now. That's fine. I do want to say one thing about that Mac Wilson play. Jonathan Jones gave up on that play because he thought it was over as well. Jonathan Jones, by the way, allowed 7 catches on 9 targets, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He needs to step it the fuck up.
Is he our new Isaiah Wynn?
No, not yet. I'm gonna give him a break. I'm gonna give him a break. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel any better after talking it out with you guys. But we had to.
Al, do you think the season's fucking over? I didn't hear.
I basically said if they lose to the Cardinals Monday night, season's over.
Yeah, that is okay. So you guys are on the same page. That next game dictates the season.
No, this and I don't care how you do it. I don't style points. Don't give a shit. At this point, you got to win games because once you take care of this game, like I said, you have the Raiders next. very winnable game. Then, like you said, you got the Bengals, Dolphins, and Bills. Tough games. You can beat the Bengals. They're not unbeatable, unless they're playing the Chiefs, because then the Bengals always win. You can beat the Bengals. You can also beat the Dolphins. Dolphins are not unbeatable at all. They've shown Tua is banged up every game, it seems like. So who knows?
Hopefully.
Even the Bills game is the Bills game. We'll see what happens there. But there's still a path. There's still a way to the playoffs. The season is not over yet. You just got to win against Arizona. You have to win against Arizona. So,
I mean, we have the benefit of the doubt that Cliff Kingsbury is likely on his way out. So the players don't really give a shit about him.
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, Kyler Murray hates him. Yeah. Kyler Murray hates him. DeAndre Hopkins is yelling at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. Yeah, that's probably why. So I just to get it on the books, Al, do you think I'll kind of go around. Al, do you think that the Patriots win on Sunday?
On Monday night, yes.
Or yeah, Monday night. Sorry, yeah, no, not Sunday.
Yes.
Liam, do you think
they win the game?
I don't know, man. Fucking
undecided.
Rhino.
Undecided. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think they win because they have to. And I don't think that I can mentally handle them losing. So I'm going to say they're going to win for my own sanity. But speaking of my sanity, yeah, like I said, this episode did nothing for me. It did not help me at all.
Yeah.
I'm still upset.
I did not tell you beforehand that I was going to make you feel better. I gave no inclination of the
I knew going into it that this was going to suck. Al, we'll probably give you we'll give you next week off. You don't have to come on next week, especially if they lose. Because I think if they end up losing, it's just going to be an episode where me and Liam just stare at each other crying the whole episode and just kind of reliving the glory days. Another thing, let me say, Matthew Judon, step it the fuck up, buddy. I don't care if you're getting double teamed or whatever. Step it up. You got to show up this game.
Sounds dirty.
You know who else has to show up? Actually, no. That's what I was going to say. My game breaker, all time stupid decision by me. I said Matt Patricia was going to be my game breaker. So I was off a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got nothing else to say. You guys have anything to say before we go? This sucked.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. All right. So for Al, for Liam, I'm Mike. This was Tuck Rule Takes. Go Patriots. Season's not over, but we'll see what happens after Monday night. So we're leaving. We are not going to leave you with a sweet feat tonight, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, good night, good luck, goodbye, good riddance.